So let's get started. Gregg Garfield. So nice to have you here.
How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. When you and I first started talking, I loved your energy. And I know we were talking about like vacation rental versus doing something like a corporate rental or whatever it happens to be. And just, trying to get good information for you. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden you came up with something. I went, what did you just say? He goes, he's saying, I was patient zero. I said,
Oh
wait,
yeah.
in LA. I mean, what are you talking about? And you sent me
So,
that video and I was like, oh my God,
yeah.
what an experience. What a traumatic experience you went through. And so I'd rather not me talk much about this. I would just love to just we'll get to the real estate hell, but let's talk about what you went through. If you could give us a snapshot of that, or as much as you want to share with us.
Oh gosh. I'm a diehard skier. Coincidentally, you and I have a mutual friend that was on the trip with me. He's one of my best friends.
He's the best.
Um, every year we go on a European ski trip. I ski, oh God, 70 to 100 days a year.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
helicopter ski, all that fun stuff. And
Uh-huh.
this was, we're just a bunch of guys, 13 guys trying to go on a trip to Europe and have some fun and not expecting anything bad to happen. I mean, look, injuries happen. That's all fine and dandy, but
Right.
a worldwide pandemic, that's kind
Mhm.
of unexpected by all means. So 3 days into to skiing, all 13 guys start coming down with flu-like symptoms. We're in Val Gardena, Italy,
Uh-huh.
northern Italy. My girlfriend called me at that particular point when we just got there and said, "Are you aware of this thing called the coronavirus? Um, it's where you guys are in northern Italy." So we weren't too worried about it. We're all athletes. We're
Uh-huh.
outdoors. We're breathing fresh air. Um, it took a little bit of a turn. So about 3 days in, again, we all start coming down with flu-like symptoms. Three of our friends from Sweden went home a couple days early, and one of the guys checked into the hospital with and was sent home with the flu. So he
Hmm.
called us, and we thought we had the flu.
Right.
So we didn't worry too much about it. We were just at happy hour making jokes about it, even though we're feeling little under the weather. We were leaving through Munich. We ended up getting there. One of our friends, the night before we were leaving, checked into the hospital with double pneumonia,
Oh wow.
and we hopped a flight. We get a call 3/4 of the way through the flight, or a text that he tested positive for COVID. So we land in LA. Obviously we're a little uncomfortable, a little scared.
Of course.
I call AJ and said, my girlfriend, and said, "Don't come to the house." We weren't living together at the time. And I called my doctor, who called the CDC, and they sent a hazmat team to my house.
Oh
They pick
wow.
me up. They take me to their office in Pacoima,
Hmm.
tested me where there wasn't any random testing out there in LA for a while. 24 hours later, I test positive,
Hmm.
and that was on March 2nd. March 4th, I was so distraught, feeling just brain fog and uh, couldn't focus on anything, having a difficult time breathing. And a buddy of mine who's a retired physician ended up calling all the hospitals in LA, and none of the major hospitals would take me. They said, "We're not ready for a COVID patient." They said, "Go to the emergency room."
This doesn't even sound real. It sounds like a movie.
Yeah, if you go to the emergency room, I'm COVID positive. You infect everybody. So that wasn't an option that we were going to entertain.
Hmm.
And St. Joe's in Burbank was the only one that was ready with an inflow room. And the morning of the 5th, I couldn't breathe and made a phone call to the ambulance and picked me up at 5:30 in the morning and took me and admitted me. On March 7th, my doctor came in and said, "Your oxygen saturation is so low, we have to intubate you."
Oh, that
I had
sounds just
no idea.
horrible. That's so
No
scary.
idea. So I called a couple people, a couple physician friends, and asked a couple questions, and they said, "Well, if you don't do it, you're not going to be here very long." So I called AJ and said, I'm going to be offline for a couple days. So I spent the next 31 days on a ventilator in a medically induced coma.
Oh my gosh. That is
Yeah.
just, when I saw the video, I found it so overwhelming because it was such a shock to our family, I know, and to see someone who actually went through it. I mean, it must have been so surreal. It's like there's no way this could be happening. Were you in shock?
Um, I really didn't know what was happening, to be honest with you. Even when I was getting intubated, I mean, I was out 31 days later. I started coming out of sedation. I lost 50 pounds. I had MRSA, sepsis. I had 4 collapsed lungs, or they collapsed 4 times. I had a
Mm.
pulmonary embolism. I had ARDS, which is acute respiratory distress syndrome. Um, I had kidney failure. I was put on 24-hour dialysis. Um, I mean, my organs started failing. I was 2 days shy of going on ECMO, which is an iron lung. And
Oh,
there's very few people come back from that.
you're a
Um,
miracle.
it is a
A miracle.
miracle. Medically
That's
speaking, I shouldn't be here.
right. Wow.
So, and then subsequently, when I was on, they put me on pressors, a drug called Levophed,
Hmm.
and that forces all your blood to your vital organs for survival, and it compromises your extremities. So, a couple of my fingers went black, a couple of my toes went black, um, and subsequently, when I got out of the hospital on May 8th, I had 8 surgeries in 9 months, amputations, amputating my fingers. All the fingers on my right hand got amputated, half the fingers on my left, and a few toes. Um, and we didn't really expect that to happen for sure.
Well, Greg, here's what I'm thinking. What I'd like to do with your okay, 'cause I know it's online, is when we post, I'd love to post that video just so people can
Do it.
experience the whole story. Um, and because I thought it was just really, it was what it's a survival story. I mean, it's really really outstanding. What I'd like to know really is, I mean, after you go through something like that, I mean, how does Greg Garfield change? I mean, it's got to be life altering to go through an experience like that.
Yeah, it's just through mindset. I didn't realize uh, the internal strength that I had.
Hmm.
Um, Kind of came natural to me.
Hmm.
And granted, when I woke up, there were a few hundred of my friends that were incredible. That the
I
love
love
and
at the
support.
end there. That was just so beautiful.
Oh, it was amazing, and the
Yeah.
love and support that I received was fantastic. And it went from a few hundred to a few thousand, and the story went worldwide. Um, and it really, I've always been a very favorable. I have a favorable attitude. I look at life with the glass half full, not half empty.
Hmm.
Um, but where it changed me is really the focus of appreciating the small things.
Right.
And you know, life can change in a moment's notice. I mean, you're here 1 minute, you're gone the next. The only thing you can confirm is right now,
Right.
and live every minute of every day with purpose.
I
And
love
that's
that.
kind of really, it took it to another level for me.
What's interesting is we all, I don't know about you, but I'll probably look at inspirational videos. You know, here's Kobe, here's some like
Hmm.
twice, at least twice a day, and I share them. People get them, and every now and then they respond. You know, it's one of those.
Yeah.
So you see this, and you know this, but you experience it on such a high level. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, that's why last night when you and I were texting back and forth, I said, you know what? I'm really looking forward to seeing where this relationship goes because you're such a very unique and positive guy, and you're different from anyone I know because of what you went through.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I think that people aren't challenged enough to really understand what they're capable of. I'm
right.
no different than anybody else. I just made a choice, and the choice was to keep it positive. everybody has the ability to do that. And I fortunately started a motivational speaking business outside of what I normally do, which is I'm a credit card processor for the last, this November will be 35 years.
So
And
let's take a second to talk about that real quick, because it's always nice to hear about these things too. So
sure.
are you still coaching?
It's not coaching. It's just it's telling our story, educating people. It is coaching on mindset. It
Yeah.
actually is
Okay.
coaching. I talk to entrepreneurs. I talk to a lot of nonprofits as well.
Mm-hmm.
Really trying to deal with individuals that that are dealing with some forms of adversity, and we all have adversity in our life. You don't have to die to or come close to dying to wake up and smell the roses.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our trauma is real. All of our frustration in life is real. No matter how severe it may or may not be to one person versus another. And there's nothing that you can't overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally a choice. It's how you decide to look at it. Are you a victim or are you a survivor?
Well, I would tell you that yes, I think everyone is capable of it. I don't, or most people would be capable of it. I just don't think that most people do it.
Oh, I
You
agree
know?
with you 100%.
So the fact that that's your makeup to do that, and that you handle it the way you did, was really really impressive and compelling to me.
Well, it truly is a testament to my village. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
AJ and I have been together. She and I were only together 18 months. And
Mm-hmm.
here's a person that your boyfriend kind of falls off the ship.
Oh my
And
God.
this person stood by me through thick and thin. And frankly, it's the thinnest I ever want to be. And, when I woke up, that was, again, around we were together 18 months. A couple months after that, on the 24-month anniversary, I put a ring on her finger.
No, that's great.
That was
That's
really cool.
great.
Turned out to be a little bit of a love story. That's
Yes, God.
really,
This has
really fun.
everything. There sounds like there's a movie in this.
Let's hope so.
That'd be great. That'd be great. That's my background. I don't do it now, but that's my background. Do you mind giving us just a quick snapshot of your business too, with the other
So,
business?
yes. So, as a credit card processor, I started a philanthropic side of my business called Chip In, giving
Mhm.
profit a purpose. So, for the last 35 years, I've been a credit card merchant processor. That allows businesses to accept credit cards. They come to a guy like me.
Sure.
We're an educator in that space, and 12 years ago, I was fortunate enough to become the merchant processor for Mammoth Mountain Ski Area. And
Okay.
we aligned with the Mammoth Mountain Community Foundation, which
Okay.
funds a lot of different opportunities in Mammoth, from the snowboard team, the ski team. They're involved in the school system, involving scholarships and things like that. So what we did was we peeled off a percentage of our profits, not only from the mountain, but from all the merchants that we worked with in town in that community.
Mm-hmm.
And we donated it to the foundation, and 100% of our money went to the public school system.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years in, we decided to audit the program to determine where our money went, like specifically. And we found that the STEM and music curriculum exists because of the money we donated. It affected thousands of children's lives in a 4.5 square mile town. And currently, to this day, we've donated over $500,000 to the school up there. Well, I decided to bring it off the hill and
Mm-hmm.
go nationwide with it. And we meet or beat anybody's program out there. And we donate 10% of our profits to the charity of your choice for life.
That's
And
awesome.
it's making a difference in communities,
I love it.
giving processing a purpose.
I love it. That just makes. I've got to imagine that makes the business just so much better. I have an
Oh, yeah.
agent buddy of mine who's over in Palisades, Anthony Margulies. He's a great agent over there.
Mhm.
He donates 10% of everything his team makes, to charity. And I was told I got to meet this guy. I said, I've got to meet this crazy guy. Are you kidding me? Because I mean, the deals he does are huge. And I'm going, you're
Right.
giving that much money away? It's because he goes, it's just money.
It's great. And I've been given the best gift of all life.
Yeah.
And to really give back means more to me than ever before. Um, making a difference in people's lives is incredible, and it's such a feel good uh, of emotion, of pride. When you go to and you see people that are less fortunate than us, um, they don't have the ability at this time to live life at the capacity that they should.
Right.
And we just try to make a difference.
I love it.
You
I
know,
love
whether
it.
it's cancer research, whether it's water purification, whether it's medical of any kind. We started with our speaking business. We just did a talk last week in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
and we were hired by this company called MTF Biologics. That's a
Mm-hmm.
tissue bank.
Uh-huh.
Come to find out, they're the company that donated the tissue to rebuild my hands.
Oh, you're kidding me.
So it came around full circle, which was really cool. And we reaffirmed to the people, the salespeople and the leadership team, really what they do, and I'm a product of what they bring to the table.
I love it. That is, I just love that. I always tell people whenever I do anything philanthropic wise, I said it's just selfish of me because I get so much out of it. It's like life's too short not to. It sounds like you keep on bringing up things that I want to talk about, but we could be here for hours. So I think you and I are going to have to maybe do this again also. But I don't. Our daughter is. We brought her home from Uganda about 13 years ago. So when I think about all the things that are going on over there, and you were talking about water purification and the philanthropy and how they're helping over there and stuff, it just moves me. So I'd love to see that you're doing this, and I definitely want to hear more about it.
I appreciate that. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
But here's the thing, you know what we did? We started off with all this really great, interesting stuff. So now you're gonna have now you're gonna have some stupid real estate stories. We should have started with the real estate stories, and we're gonna end it with what? Patient zero. Oh, philanthropy, all this. But let's give it a shot because you're an interesting guy. You've been.
Go for it.
I could tell that when I was talking to you on the phone the first time, as you were talking about your property in Woodland Hills and what you wanted to do with that property and maybe the neighbor's property and all this stuff. I went, man, this guy really, he thinks outside the box. And so I thought that was interesting. So I would love to hear, two or three of your what you consider to be really great real estate stories, the hell stories. And
Oh, it's interesting. So what's interesting about our property in Woodland Hills, it's my wife's property.
Mhm.
And it was that when she got divorced, it was a very challenging, tumultuous escrow. And come to find out later, which I now understand why that was.
Mhm.
It was a gentleman well, initially the person that owned the property owns the house on the property and two consecutive lots next door.
Mhm.
And they were dirt lots. When she bought it, there was a note that was in the escrow that said your carport might be encroaching on your neighbor's property line.
It says might.
Might be encroaching on the neighbor's property. So this was at the time where escrows were few and far between. There was multiple, well, not few and far between, but getting the property was few and far between. There was multiple offers and so forth and so on. So she was very strict on her budget. It was right in her budget. It was a very it fit her needs. It was a great house.
Right.
It's still a great house. And she needed to get this property. So she looked past all the issues. 5 years later, comes to find out that there's an individual that walks over to her and says, "Hey, I'm your neighbor. I just inherited the lot next door. And if you want to buy it from me, feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to build on it. And frankly, your property line, half of your carport and half of your garden and your staircase that goes up to your house is on my property." And extorted her to buy the property.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't worth too much of anything to anybody else but her. So subsequently, she ended up she ended up doing it. Didn't want to get into a lawsuit. Ended up paying, an exorbitant amount over what it was worth, but it was worth it to her, and it was
Right.
less expensive to buy the property than to go fight in court.
Yeah. Well, that's um, sometimes when people aren't like you with a big heart and with that aren't going to really be reasonable and to try to figure things out when they know they can strong arm you. That's just it's unfortunate. But I do agree with you because every attorney we've had a lot of attorneys on this show. They're always saying unless you're ready to spend at least $100,000, don't do it.
Oh,
Life's too short. That the attorneys are talking clients out of it, and when they really want to go for it anyway, man, these attorneys make tons of money because
oh yeah,
everyone wants to fight.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
all
that's a
about
great story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
get your pride out of the way. That's it.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. All right. What else do you got for us? What else? Because that one to me, that makes me mad. Do you have anything else that will frustrate the shit out of me that you can share with me?
When I bought my mammoth house.
Uh, Wait, you brought
So
that with our mutual friend, right?
yeah, absolutely, yes.
We can mention his name, Brett Leitner.
Brett Leitner,
Brett, one of the best loan brokers out there. He
absolutely.
really gives a shit about everybody. He's great. But not only that, he is so freaking smart.
Yeah,
He understands that world inside and out. His level of knowledge is just amazing.
yeah.
And
He's a
he happens to be a great guy.
a passion for educating his individuals that he works with, and giving them the best opportunity that's out there. And
Yeah,
he's an amazing, amazing guy.
yeah, yeah. He's definitely the full package. When I first met him, I happened to be working with other people. And after a while of seeing him at this networking group, like over months and months and months, he never put the pressure on me. But at one point, I thought, God, man, he's really hard not to use because I like him, and everyone says such great things about him. I'm like, all right, I got to use him. And sure enough, he hits it out of the park. He acts
Oh
as
yeah.
a fiduciary towards people. But you know what? Enough about Brett Leitner. Enough about him.
Enough about Brett.
Let's talk about you. Let's talk about the Mammoth property.
So when we ended up going, we got into escrow, and we had a couple bumps in the road on escrow. We went in, looked at the house, and all of a sudden there was a pipe that broke,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up trying to blame us, and it was a pipe burst in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of a tumultuous thing. Turns out that he was in a really bad divorce,
Mm-hmm.
and when the loan funded, and his soon-to-be ex-wife wouldn't sign the grantee.
Oh, ouch.
What came up was they owed a couple debts that was attached to the property,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't want to have any part of her proceeds go to this debt.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to go to a judge, and literally he said to her, "You're either going to sign the grant deed or I'm putting you in jail."
Wow.
So
So basically, you got into escrow. You guys performed the whole way. She had already signed off, but then she won't sign the deed.
correct.
Oh, that's not good.
Correct.
That's not good. There's
So
a lot
it was
of
your only leverage play to him.
yeah. Well, part of me goes, okay, I get that play, because I don't know the situation. I get the play that hey, work this out first, but they certainly put you guys in the middle.
It was, hey, look, we owned the property for a day without, well, let me rephrase it. I got a loan on the property for a day without owning the property.
Oh my, really? I didn't think you can close without that.
It was without sign. I mean, by the way,
Wow.
it didn't close at that point, but the loan funded.
The loan funded without it recording, or I guess it happens around the same time. Okay,
Yeah.
so wow. Okay, because usually so it's funded. Well, there's usually oftentimes there can be a day in between.
Yeah.
So anyway, wow. But good thing you had the right guy on your side, Mr. Brett Leitner,
Mr. Brett Leitner. He was our pit bull.
But the thing is, though, he's also got the finesse. He's like Muhammad Ali. You don't know, you don't realize you just got hit.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's a good guy.
Yes, absolutely. you have any other stories you want to share? I mean, I think you're doing. Man, you've got my interest the whole time. You know that I did an interview. It's not an interview, a conversation with someone, and at the end of it, got on with our producer, and I said, "Is it just me, or was that just a snooze all the way? Is my energy down? Could I have done something different?" And so that's not you, Greg. That's
Well,
not
thank
you.
you very much. I
Yeah.
think the only other thing that I have real estate wise is when AJ and I got together, we got engaged, we moved in together. She moved into my house out in Studio City, and we
Mhm.
turned her home into an Airbnb. Her house was completely remodeled. It's a 100-year-old home, 1,200 square feet, and it is the most charming place you'll ever see. If
Uh-huh.
you look in Woodland Hills in Airbnb under the Zen Tree House in Woodland Hills, it is a gem, an
The
absolute gem. So
the
we
Jen
started
house.
the
Okay.
Zen Tree House in Woodland Hills,
Okay. Awesome.
and it is absolutely stunning. It's got all 5-star reviews. It just absolutely an amazing place, and it became so favorable in the amount of nights that we're renting. We're renting it 20 plus nights a month,
Mm-hmm.
which is
That's amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And then subsequently we started talking about, she was like, all right, I want to buy other places and turning them into Airbnbs. Well, I said, well, why don't we use the property next door that you just bought to put an ADU on it and utilize that?
The
So
one
that
where the
was,
carport might be encroaching.
well, we would build another parking above it, which would be
Okay.
great.
Mm-hmm.
And she and I were going back and forth on what we wanted to do with it, and how it was designed and so forth. And she's got a great eye for it.
Right.
So this is how I ended up finding you through provisors, through our mutual business associates,
Right.
and we wanted to know a lot of the rules and the regulations about Airbnb, short-term rentals, and things like that, to really make a determination on whether or not we can build this, because it's an expensive build. It's on a slope side lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not about dropping like 150 grand on a quick build on an ADU. It's probably between $350,000 and $500,000.
Yeah.
But with what's going on in Woodland Hills, the Rams are going in with their facility, all that stuff. And with the success that we've had so far with our existing Airbnb, we're looking very seriously on wanting to put this build together.
Great.
So
So,
thank you for all your input.
oh, and say again?
Said thank you for all your input.
Oh no, my pleasure. I know when it comes to that world, because I've done it before, I know just enough to be dangerous. So that's why I said, okay, this is my understanding, but do not rely on me. Let me get you someone you can rely on. That was my gift to you, because I wanted to make sure you got the right information.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
Of course, of course. So that was great. I really appreciate you being here.